We in there. We are in there. Welcome to another Supersonic Saturday session. Listen, it's about to be something more so like walking down memory lane today. I got a lot of stuff that I want to actually show y'all and talk to y'all about. But for those of you who do not know, my name is Jared Walker. And at the end of the day, I'm here to make your day, well, this Saturday, a little more exciting. Everybody goes through the week. They go Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday is kind of like, I can breathe again. But it's like, man, you still want to be energized. You still want to enjoy your day. So today we about to do that. We about to go through these sessions. If you look at the actual description, you'll see you can submit your tracks. So if you're an artist, you're a producer, you're somebody who just needs to be heard, let's unmute you. That way you can get that sound that you deserve. Now listen, I have some amazing gems that I ran across based off of stuff from 2015, 2014, 16 that I thought I lost. I had them tracks I thought I lost. And as a when you create music and you find what you were looking for and you thought that track was gone, oh man, it just hit different when you find it. It's like, oh, I found a bunch of tracks. I was like, I should go back and do something to this. So, what I want to actually do with y'all, if we don't have any submissions, I want to make sure that y'all get to hear exactly what it was that I was missing. I found some dope stuff, and we're gonna, get, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it. So, first and foremost, we want to start this joint off right. And I typically start my actual Monday through Fridays off with the Supersonic Morning Momentums with this track that I can't get enough of. But see, this right here, I think this is what we need first. Let's go ahead and get into momentum on this Saturday first. And right here is how we gonna do it. Mm. All right, now that we got that out the way, welcome in again. If you just now joining, look. So today's Supersonic Saturday session is about to be about something that I actually found. I found a folder with files in them joints that were like, oh my goodness, these were digital files. These were songs I had started. These were the actual sounds that I used to work with. And it's like, oh man, I got excited. I got it so excited. Then I remembered a lot of those came from an actual project I did for my wife. Now, the story behind that joint is crazy. Like, I found myself trying to be all secretive and surprising, and I wanted to surprise her with a original composition. There's a whole project, and yeah, it got done, but it came with some consequences because I didn't communicate effectively or at all. I literally had someone drop in from another country into our actual country in our actual state, and when they popped up, I'm talking about just popped up, and it's like they ain't never been here before. So what do I do? They hit me up and said, "Hey, I'm here in Texas. I need you to come pick me up." I'm like, "Uh-oh." They put my name down for where they were going when they had to fill out all the paperwork. And I was like, oh man. So I couldn't just leave them hanging, even though they were 4 hours away on a drive for me to get to them. This joint was, it's like this whole, that story is, I got to tell that story another day though. But in context of all of that, my wife ended up having some we'll say priorities that were required of her, and we added another one whenever I brought this amazing individual to our home for their stay while they were here in the States. Well, I dipped. I went to a whole other state. I went to I went to Arizona to go and actually create this project for my wife, and she didn't even know that's what I was doing. She thought I was just leaving her and abandoning her. At this time, I was a father of one. Our baby was really low key a newborn. There was a lot going on. I was tripping, but I went out there and I got the job done, and then I came back. So these songs that you gonna hear are things that were created around that time, and specifically for that project. And the field that I was going for was a storyline that said majestic, a storyline that said this person has to be the main character with their own theme. So the whole project is literally about that. It's called Memory Lane. Now, I'm not playing y'all that project. However, I will play some of the songs that were on that project that set the tone, the story behind it. And oh man, it was so fire. Um, Matter of fact, so this is the first track that was on there. And in this, the beginning part, you have me driving in the rain, trying to get back home. And as I'm driving, it's storming. It's bad. You can hear the rain hitting the window. You can hear the windshield wipers. You can hear the car going. You can hear all of that. And then all of a sudden, you hear, oh, snap. And she told me I should have never did that because still to this day, that traumatized her because she didn't see it coming. Well, during that time, this is the track that's playing while I'm yawning and driving and whatnot. It's crazy because it's kind of realistic. But here go that track right here. Yeah, that joint right there, it really it was an emotion behind it that really drew the story in a certain direction. So whenever the crash happens, it's like, what's going on? Well, then there's a wake up. And now I wake up and I'm in this place that I don't know nothing about. Like, how did I get here? How in the world did I get here? I had my cousin. He was actually one of the actors, the voice actors in the joint. Like the whole crazy story is literally something that is setting the tone about this person, this man who forgot who he was. And as he forgot who he was, he's getting taken along the way to go and meet the queen. Now, the queen is actually my wife, but she's in the background. You hear her voice. My wife's not in this thing. No, that's the crazy part, except for one part. She had no idea I was going to use her voice for an actual part from a voicemail in this joint. Like it was crazy how it worked. So one of those other things that took place was I had a lot of fun just creating something, but the music was really setting the tone. And it got me to thinking, like, man, your soundtrack. Like if you don't have a story, that's one thing. That's not true. You have one. But if you think you don't have a story, that's one thing. But when you let's say you do have a story, if you don't have a sound that goes with your story, then you're missing out. And there's a piece that's missing, the connection, the solidifier, the thing that brings it together, the emulsifier, that enhancement is the sound. And this actual project would not have been what it is without that sound. Here goes another one of those actual tracks that was on there. And it's like, man, this is how did this in the how in the world did I bring all of this stuff together? Because I made all of these tracks at different times. They just so happen to just boom. They just fit. They hit. And it's some simple, quick, fast stuff. But here goes another one right here. This joint is called King's Entrance. And that's what you hear whenever I'm in this actual story, meeting the queen for the first time. And then when she looks at me, she's like, I love you, booby. That's what my wife calls me. Don't y'all ever call me that. Nobody gets to call me that. If you know me, you know my wife, and you know, okay, cool. That's what she called me. Don't you ever call me that, though. But she calls me that. And in the actual in the actual project, that's what happens. So you got that joint. I think we had another one that went, and this one was next. Oh yeah, this was like a movie. This was like a movie. Man, it's so fire. The emotion, the feeling. This is, oh man. There's another one. It's called Royalty. Man, I want to go make another one of these. I want to go do this again. It's just that majestic, cinematic, theatrical feeling that I was going for. I got some other joints I should have put in there. Like, daggone, like what? Like, man. But at the end of the day, that project paved the way for me to actually see things that were capable of happening. Like, you can take movies and watch them and listen to the soundtracks on them or not, but at the end of the day, the actual scenes that you're watching, they literally would not be what they are without the music that was carrying it along. So that plays a role in why I even got to a point where, like, with my father who passed away, I I I created original music composition around the voicemail that I had from him, whenever I just want to hear his voice again. And then I got other joints where people left voicemails for the actual project, put music behind all of their stuff. Like, it was fire how it all worked out. I want to do that stuff again. Man, I'm getting some ideas right now. But this is one of those joints that came from out of that. It wasn't on the project, but it was the fun with actually taking these vocal chops and all of that stuff and chopping them up and creating something from out of it. This right here, this one joint, it's called Can You Feel It? I want you to tell me, can you feel it? Could you feel it? Could you feel it? It was something about those cries, that scream. I don't know that. Oh, it just hit a certain type of way. So look, next we got some joints on here. I'm like, you know what? I remember one time when I had said I was going to do like a competition, and it's a lot of people out there who do competitions, but this one right here, I think you might want to participate in this. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to play a couple of actual tracks that I want y'all to decide, like, oh, I want to do something with that. And what I'll do is I'm gonna actually send it to you. Now, this is what I want you to do. I want to see who can come up with the best piece of content with it. I'm talking about the best piece of content with it, because the content that you create from it, the person who has the best piece in it, I got a big prize for them. And that prize will be a gift. It'll be you winning. You accomplish something. But what you'll get is an actual sonic identity session with me, because that's part of what I do. I'm a sonic identity consultant. So what we'll do is we'll take your voice and show you exactly how you can go about turning your voice into a monetized legacy building asset. Now, listen, that piece right there is the secret sauce to how you can get paid when people press play anytime they hear your voice and your content. So for the winner, you'll actually get this experience. We can call it a supersonic success experience. But if you want to be a participant in this, you want to get this, you got to comment below, I'm in, or shoot me a DM. Either way, I'm about to play some of those joints. And I want you to actually feel what it was that I was actually trying to get out of this project, like put into there, because there was a lot. And some of them didn't even make it too. I'll play some of the ones that didn't make it. It's just like, it don't fit, but it could if I wanted it to. Like this one right here, this doesn't fit at all, but it's something I thought about. It just didn't fit with the vibe of the project, like at all. Like even with this one right here. Whoa, I hadn't heard that one in a little bit though. Sheesh, hold on, I need to go back and do something else with that. Man, hold on. Man, yeah, but here go another one. I remember this one. Hey, and shout out to you, Carmen. Thank you for being here. Oh my goodness, here it goes. Oh man. All of these sounds, all of these cinematic joints that I created years ago. And man, I'm telling you, when you find your vibe, when you find your sound, it's so dope. Like you get to sit back. Like for me, I'll create something and then I'll just need to think. So I'll sit back and I'll actually just let it play. Just keep it on repeat, keep it on play while I'm thinking. And it's like, man, all you got to do is literally find what fits you sonically. Once you find your sonic sound, your sonic identity, your signature sound that fits with you, it's literally like a game changer because it invokes you, provokes you, inspires you, and energizes you to do things that you normally would need to be kind of like nudged and pushed a little bit to go and do. So, matter of fact, I want to try something different. So the other couple days back, I was on here for the first time ever. I was online creating something live with me on the screen. Now I've done it before when I was working with another producer or so, but I was in the actual midst of creating something that I was doing by myself, but like crazy. I went live, and every time I go back and I watch it, I'm like, man, this is man, wow, hold on, man. So what I want to do is let's see if I can actually pull that up. I want y'all to hear something and actually let me know, like, man, how does this feel to you? Because what I have right here is something that I'm wanting to do something more with. It just needs to sit right and fit right and feel right. It feels good, but there's something that it's missing. It's a how can I put it? It's a work in progress. And my work in progresses are, anytime you're dealing with an artist, someone who loves music and creates stuff, they're always the biggest critic, their own biggest critic. So I'm not acting like, oh, this is just not good. It's just like, it's not there yet. And I want it to be. So let's see how I can do this. I believe I can just share this with you. Oh, yeah. There we go. So this right here is my screen. Let me see if I can get me back on the screen though. Here we go. And this track that I've been working on, I've been trying to figure out like, okay, where can we go with this? How can we get this to go right? So first I started out with I played some piano. And the piano is where we start. And I wasn't quite feeling the last piece. So I was like, all right, let's I said, let's see what else we could do. Okay, so what I did was I ended up adding this bass line. Now I don't know if y'all listening on your phones or what, but I added some bass to it. It ended up turning out to be something that I did not necessarily expect it to be, but I'm gonna play the whole thing and I'm gonna actually break down my thought process on it so that you can kind of follow along because I know y'all don't know what you're looking at. I know that much. So this is the whole thing, just to hit you in the face with it. Like this is what that is. All right. So what happened was I started with the actual piano. After getting through this piano, I was like, something is missing. So I added some strings to it. And I mean, I actually might play y'all something live, as a matter of fact. But I added some strings to it. And then after adding those strings to it, it caused me to say, you know what? I need a person. Like, I need a person to actually put some words on this. And I realize that person is it's gonna be me. So it's got that cinematic feel to it. So when you take this part right here, I ended up bouncing it out to a track, and what I have is this is the basic, meat and potatoes. Then the strings. Mm. All right. So what I ended up doing was trying to find like the right strings to it. So let me slow down. Let me slow down. So this right here is a part of how my brain goes. I'll get a feel, I'll get a mood, and it'll match up to me. Next thing you know it, I got something that's creating a new sonic identity, but it's for somebody else or it's for myself. So whenever I am sitting down and creating, it's literally getting to a point where it's like, man, I don't know what to do with this. Then I have a whole list of songs, a whole list of tracks that I got, and it's like, man, this is a vault that somebody else could actually benefit from. So when I do these supersonic Saturday sessions, these joints are really opportunities for somebody like me that will have all types of music just sitting around and whatnot that needs to be added to somebody else's library, whatever it is that they're doing. Whether you're a producer or whether you're an artist, or my preference is going to be entrepreneurs, speakers, content creators, coaches, consultants, anybody who has a business that is literally in need of sound. So it's interesting. What I do know is this though. Today is one of those Saturdays. It's just hitting different because I think it's the first day of spring. And the feeling that I'm getting right now is that I might want to, call it quits today. However, I do want to make sure that y'all understand this big piece right here. If you don't get nothing else out of all of this, there is a sound inside of you that needs to come out. Your sound and your creativity is attached to your voice. Your voice and your experiences and everything that you have experienced has allowed you to actually have something that belongs to you. And that voice that you have, that sound that you have, that feeling that you produce and provide whenever you go to speaking and communicating and articulating, whatever it is that you have, I promise you, if you merge it with the right sound, then you will find yourself operating at a higher level. You're talking about expansively moving on to a place that you had no idea you could, all because you added the right you to it. That's all it is adding the you to whatever it is that you're already doing. You don't need to add somebody else. You need to have what's inside of you pulled out and presented to you so that you can be intentional about using it over and over and over again. It's what you hear when you hear these businesses. You have these companies like, if I say ba da ba ba ba, you know who that is. You know exactly who that is. It's McDonald's. Or if you hear ta-dum, that's Netflix. Or if you, it's just so many different companies, but how much more important to you is your voice than somebody else's sound that kind of manipulates your choice? When you hear somebody else's stuff, it causes you to move a certain way, feel a certain type of way. You know, those favorite songs that you had when you were young or even older, you hear it, it causes nostalgia to come, and it's just like, oh man, This just feels so good. Well, what if you had your own sound that went along with you and it felt so good and it caused other people to literally remember you based off of what they heard? Because, see, when you hear someone, that's one thing. It's like a child when they hear their mama's voice or their daddy voice. It's not something that they're just going to miss. Oh, no, you got that. You know, you hear that voice, you know it. Well, your voice is the same way. Your voice is distinct. Your voice has a sonic identity to it, and it deserves to be coupled with sounds that match you and your brand, especially if you are a business. So, what I want to make sure that you understand is if you have something that is important to say, make sure you say it in the most effective way. And that is with the right sound and the right song and the right brand with your sonic identity attached to it. Now, if you want to know more about how it is you can go about doing something like that, like, man, I want my business to have, I want to have my own sound. I want to be the person that is distinct. I want to stand out. I don't want to sound like everybody else. I don't want to keep getting my sound. You know, when you go to YouTube and you hear those same songs on everybody else's video in the background, it's just like, it gets it's not original. And because it's not original, you don't feel it the way that you could. Well, wouldn't you like to not only be heard, but be felt whenever you spoke or whenever you posted content, whenever you had a podcast episode, the moment that joint came on, it sounded like you. The moment that you started speaking the way that you really was feeling, like you were passionate in the moment, it felt like you. It sounded like you. Well, that's exactly what I do. So this Supersonic Saturday session, we're gonna cut this one a little short, only because there's some things I gotta go do, and I gotta get stuff for my kids, my wife, and all of that good stuff. Plus, it's not a lot of people that want to submit anything, so it's all perfect. It's just perfect. Y'all look, you stay focused. Much love to you, and I shall catch y'all on next week when I do my Supersonic morning momentums. Outside of that, y'all stay focused. Much love, and y'all take care.